began in 1985 when she encountered Marianne Williamson's Course in Miracles lectures, inspiring her to leave the restaurant industry for a life dedicated to spirituality. She co-founded and served as senior minister at the Spiritual Center for Positive Living from 1999 to 2009. And later, she launched Seeking Clarity seminars to empower others and support spiritual coaches. She was ordained as a doctor of spiritual studies and a master spiritual life coach. She's offered transformational guidance to individuals and organizations. In 2012, she and her wife, Reverend Karen Grace, founded Clarity Academy of Spiritual Arts. After facing health challenges in 2015 and discovering Gene Keys, Dr. Kim integrated these teachings into her holistic approach. In 2020, she and Reverend Karen launched Thriving with Clarity and Grace to empower others through personal growth and spiritual fulfillment. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Reverend Kim Clarity.
Thank you so much. Good morning. So here's the story. A little bit less on the wah, wah, wah. So Paramahansa Yogananda, you guys heard of him? Yeah. Cool dude. Great teacher for me. And he tells this story about, it's like 1920, 1922, and he has a big turban on his head, and he's in these robes, and he's from India. Can you imagine, right now, imagine what that would have been like in 1920, to see this dude walking through the streets with a turban on his head and these robes flowing and an entourage of devotees running around him, trying to make sure he has all he needs. And he fills these giant halls, giant, like in New York, like the size of Carnegie Hall. He would fill them with standing room only. Why? Why do you think people filled the halls to go see this dude from India? What do you think? Come on, I'm not up here to be a mouthpiece.
He was filled with spirit.
He was filled with spirit, but what do you think made all these people who had never seen anything like this, why would they all flock in, like literally overflowing, to see this guy?
Because he was very different, curious, something
Different, curious, something full of love and spirit. So he would come out, his hair was like down to here. I'd seen a lot of films, actually, old films of him. And he'd walk in and he'd go, "How is everyone today?" And you will say, "Awake and ready." You ready? Okay. How is everyone today? Awake and ready. And you know what would happen if people didn't do that? If he come out, because you can imagine, most people do what some of y'all are doing. They're like, "I don't know if I want to do it right now," right? "I don't know if I feel like lifting my energy." So I just want to say, which is fine. I just want to sit here in this energy. He would leave the stage. Can you imagine? Standing room only, an audience full of people, and the dude leaves the stage. And he sat off stage for a while. And people started going, "Well, where did he go?" He came back out and he'd say, "How is everyone today?" And "Awake and ready." And then he would talk. And he did that everywhere he went. Because when we speak the word, and the word is God, that word, why is the word God? When we speak and the word is God, why? What makes our word God? What is it? Love, what? Intention? Huh? Intention, peace, what else? Truth, like my truth, because your truth and my truth might be different, right? Faith, huh? Joy, did I hear?
joy.
Yes. So authenticity. The idea, so do you guys know what abracadabra means? Do you know what the actual translation is? So be it. So be it. That's it. So every word we speak, y'all, every word comes with that word a power and an intention. Now, what creates the intention? If every word I speak is the word of God because it works in, through, and as me and you, and where did we come from? It's not just our parents. Do you know what the odds are of being born in this life? It's like some crazy number that our brains can't even make sense of. The odds of being born into a body, into a lifetime, is so rare and so special and so unique. And yet, look what a bunch of us do. Oh God, I have to get up, it's Monday. Well, you know, you could not get up. You could never get up, right? And so looking at this idea of the word, the spoken word, this is my opportunity to remind myself and all those that are here to listen that everything we say has a power and an impact, even the smallest. In fact, often the quiet word has more power than the loud word because of where it's coming from, a place of peace and calm here. So when we think of abracadabra and that every word we speak is a spell, we cast spells everywhere we go. When I go to somebody and I go, did you hear what Myrtle did yesterday? Can you believe what she was saying about so-and-so? When I talk like that, or when I do things like that, what am I doing with this incredible, precious word of God? I'm deadening it, right? I'm taking it down to its lowest frequency because all things and everything is made up of light, and light is a frequency. Everything that we do is energy. And in that inner chi that is within us, that circulates in, through, and as us and comes out into the world with our frequency. And our frequency is going to determine the word. So one of the things that I've been working on, I'm really loving my work with the Gene Keys. And the Gene Keys were founded by Richard Rudd. And the Gene Key that we've been transiting in up until today, it changes today, but the Western Hemisphere, the Gene Key that's transiting across the hemisphere is Gene Key 47. And Gene Key 47, it sits in my chart right at the heart. So that's a key that I have. Each of us has different sets and combinations of keys, and they all are incredibly accurate in their information. And each key is a bandwidth. And in the bandwidth, there is a low frequency, a middle frequency, and a high. True or true? You got any scientists in the room? You know, any teachers in the room? We know that frequency has a low and a medium and a high, yes? So in that low, medium, and high frequency, when we are speaking from here and here, is it low, medium, or high? What do you think? Guess. If I'm speaking from here, high. Yes. If I'm speaking from here, it may or may not be. Because here, this part of our brain dies with the body. It's a directional. This part of our brain directs, organizes, and guides. Very needed, right? But what are we feeding that brain is the question. So if I am suffering and I am in trauma, and I am hurting, and I am angry, or I am grieving, or I am feeling anything less than neutral or positive, that is serving a purpose. Did you know that? That low frequency and that bandwidth, we say in Gene Keys, in the shadow lies the gift. So abracadabra. I have this pain, I have this trauma, I have this issue, I'm having this problem with this person or this place or this thing, and I'm triggered, and all of my shadows, everybody know what a shadow is? It's our low self. It's the part of us that comes from the amygdala. It's the part of us that comes from the fight and flight. The brain's only job is to keep us alive. And so in that fight and flight, if I am triggered and I am not feeling well and I am feeling somehow victimized, then how's my abracadabra going to be? It's going to be powerful. But will it build or will it tear down? What do you think? Destructive. Or, at best case, it will not serve in any way. At best case. So in this gene key, it moves from the shadow of oppression. Because this is a living wisdom, this container of gene keys, which is infinite. It's a living wisdom. These keys are living truths and wisdom. It moves from the shadow of oppression to the siddhi, S-I-D-D-H-I, meaning like heavenly realm, our highest self. It moves from the shadow of oppression to the siddhi of transfiguration. Anybody hear of that word before? We know somebody that's really good at that. Yeah, JC, he nailed it, right? He nailed it. He went from the heavy, dense, suffering body to the light body. In Tibet, they call it the rainbow body. In just about every religion, they have some similar story to this. So in the light body, in transfiguration, which just means light body, it moves that way. It goes from the shadow of oppression to the siddhi of transfiguration by way of transformation. Abracadabra. When we take our pain, our suffering, which, by the way, is where all of us meet. Anything you're going through, most likely I have some kind of experience of it, most of the time. And this is a place where Richard Rudd likes to say, suffering is grace. What makes it grace is our compassion for one another. Abracadabra. What makes it grace is when I come to you transparent and say, I am hurting, this is a struggle I'm going through, I'm not at my best self, I'm not really safe for children and other living things right now, so I'm just gonna sit and be with this and see if I can find the gift in this suffering. What could be a gift in the suffering besides compassion? What can happen when we have our trials and tribulations? What comes out of that? What happens after for you guys? What is it? Compassion. What else? For yourselves, what else? Growth. That's it, Doug. Growth. Do you realize that if we all lived in this little fairyland where everything was perfect all the time, we'd all be bored out of our minds? That is not why we as demigods came here. We came here because we wanted to experience the whole of life, all of it, the shadows, the gifts, and the siddhis, and take those ideas and weave our spells, weave them into ways to serve others. If I feel your pain, am I going to be more present with you? Am I going to support you? Am I going to feel like I'm walking with you through it? Yes. How often do we feel the suffering of others? Tell me. All the time. For me, like for some of us that really are heavy into the kinesthetic, it's hard. It's hard to watch and see the destruction and the destructive nature. But here's the thing, and we know this from the yugas, is that everything cycles, right? Everything. There isn't anything in life or any part of life that doesn't have a cycle to it. And so for everything that comes up, it must go down. So what we know, and particularly from the East, is we know that life after life, our spiral gets a little wider. We evolve and we involve. Involution, now for some of you that haven't been in your unity teachings for a while, or your science of mind teachings of a while, this word involution, this is where the abracadabra comes from. Involution is God's desire to imprint us with infinite potentiality. To be like God, to be able to create and to serve by our ability to take something that I have been through or you have been through and look at it and say, this is hard, this is hurtful, I am sorry that it's happened, it's sad, it's difficult, and what is actually trying to happen through this? What is the universe trying to teach me? Course in Miracles says that nothing happens to us, it happens for us. That when we are able to sit and go through our own grief and fully feel it, that's the thing, is for a long time in New Thought, we were bypassing and bypassing and bypassing. Let's treat it away. Let's pray it away. Let's just be smiling, happy, sort of robotic people and pretend that everything is fine when it's not. What I've learned is it's better to be transparent. It's better to say, I'm going through this. I don't know why I'm going through it. It's difficult, but there has to be a good reason for it. And then once I sit, and the word that I'm going to really drop in for abracadabra here is contemplation. Because when we contemplate, there is no judge. There is no amygdala involved. It is simply watching yourself, watching yourself. When you contemplate, you are in inquiry. So I wonder why this has happened. This is so painful. I don't understand why it's happening. I wonder what it is. Why would it have happened to me? For what purpose me? And ask those questions. And it's not like, why did it happen to me? Because there's no judge here. It's why? What's trying to happen? What could it be? And simply by sitting, I love to do this with tea, a little pu'er is nice. Sit with a little pu'er Chinese tea, a little ceremonial tea. Sit as the sun's coming up or the sun's going down or in the middle of the day, have tea. I wonder what's going to happen with this. I wonder why this is happening. I wonder what I'm going to do with it. I wonder what it's going to become. Well, I wonder what it's going to look like. When we ask those questions, abracadabra. When we do that, the universe responds. And one of the things we do in quantum meditation, which some of us are going to be doing later today, is we close the meditation by saying with our abracadabra, God, Spirit, Universe, give me a sign. Show me that I am on the right track. Make it clear. Make it so clear that I can't miss it, that what I'm about to do or how I'm feeling is exactly what I was born in this moment to feel and do. Make it absolutely obvious. And you know what? It always does. There's maybe not in that hour or in that afternoon or even sometimes that day, but almost always, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear and your heart is filled with love and you are open, we can use our spell casting. And we can go into, I want to know how to heal so that I can help others heal from this. That whatever is going on with me, I can turn it into something. I can turn water into wine. I can turn clay into something beautiful. That's the thing about being in our abracadabra selves. We're walking around spell casting everywhere we go. And we're either giving grace to everyone we come in contact with, and in some cases we're not. And when we don't, it's to recognize that, to ask ourselves, what am I feeling in my body right now? If it's tight, I'm taking a course called the Star Pearl, one of the many, many courses. And in the Star Pearl, I had a new gene key pop up, Gene Key 33, which in this key, it's all about being in my heart before I speak. Why would that be a good idea, to be in our heart before we speak? Once the spell is cast, it has to run it. Remember, you can't die, people. You cannot kill energy. It recreate itself, in itself, out of itself, of itself, like everything does. So when we understand this, and we go, you know what, I don't know if I'm in the right state here of heart to have any kind of deep conversation here. I think I'm going to show up and just receive love today. And respond rather than react. Abracadabra. The minute we choose response over a reaction, abracadabra. Why? What just happened? If I'm going through life on autopilot with my amygdala, a tiger's gonna come get you any second, and oh my God, these people are gonna run me off the road. Oh my God, I'm not gonna be late. Oh my God, this person, It's exhausting. And yet, how often do we all reside here unconsciously? And it is in that unconsciously that we want to start really being our good Buddhist selves and start to notice. So often we're so good at dissociating, have you noticed? So often we forget how we're actually feeling. We're in so much autopilot that we don't even know how we're feeling. We're just getting through the process. But if we can teach ourselves to check in with ourselves before we enter into any kind of the other, whenever the other is around. Have you all ever had a chance to notice the difference between how you feel in a room when you're in it alone and the minute somebody else walks in it? Check it. Notice it. It's very interesting. It's an indicator. It's subtle sometimes, but sometimes it's very obvious. How do you feel when you feel alone and safe in your space versus when somebody, and it could be your son, your mother, your daughter, your father, anybody, somebody you see all the time, they walk in, there is a change in your energy. What I am suggesting today is that you become great magicians and that you get really clear on noticing those subtleties and asking yourself, wonder why I feel a little different when somebody walks in the room. What is that about? And see what kind of answers you get. Because when you notice that, you'll notice other subtle energy shifts. Because everything is what? Energy. Every single thing is energy. And every band and every thread of energy has a low, medium, and high. And what it does is it attunes to the vehicle. So if my attunement is based on some kind of reaction or a victim pattern, they did this to me, which, by the way, I don't believe that for a minute. I don't believe anything or anybody does anything to me. It is me that either receives it or doesn't. It is me that steps in it or steps out of it. That is our opportunity for abracadabra. This is when we can stop and say, how am I feeling and where am I coming from right now? And then especially if you're entering into a difficult conversation with somebody, then it's a really good idea to do a dump, a big old feeling emotional dump. Okay, I'm really anxious, I'm really not sure, I'm feeling everything on my mind is telling me all these fearful things, and I just want to take a breath and calm down before we start. That'll help a lot. That's abracadabra right there. Because now the other person understands why your energy's so weird, right? They can go, okay, all right, well, let's work this out one thing at a time. And that's where transparency becomes the gift that keeps on giving. So as we move through this week and these weeks ahead, ask yourself, what spells are you casting? Ask yourself, what is your intention to meet with this person today, whoever they may be? Is your intention to serve, to receive, to have a good and meaningful experience? Then you will. And if you don't, you won't react. You'll take a breath, you'll think abracadabra, and you'll start thinking about how can I change this energy? How can I turn this water into wine right here? How can I take this opportunity and be a presence that when I walk in the room, people relax and take a breath. They say, okay, good. That's what I want. I want people in my presence to feel seen, to feel loved, to feel heard, and to feel absolutely honored. And there are going to be many times when I cannot do that. And when I cannot do that, if I'm in and around other people, I will be transparent and say, I'm just going to hang out today. I'm just sitting in my stuff and I'm just trying to work it all out. I'm just glad to be around you because now you're serving one another. And it's in the service of one another that the magic happens, you guys. When are we most depressed? When do you feel your absolute worst? Where's your head? What is your focus when you feel your absolute worst? Where is it? Myself. And so and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I absolutely invite people to feel that fully. And then once that feeling is felt, to take that feeling and become the magician. Become the spellcaster that creates light, that creates possibility everywhere we go. To be able to really take a moment and create something beautiful out of that light. To take this energy, this energy, and magic happens. You guys are beautiful magic. I hope you'll stay with us for the workshop today. We're going to go into this in detail, and we're going to take this to a whole new level. And I love each and every one of you, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. And I thank you for your time today. Om, peace. Amen. Shanti, shanti. Thank you.